Each week, we welcome to our NfG stage one of our highly talented members or special guests with something designed to help you and your business. Today, as Jarmila said earlier, sees us enter Global Entrepreneurship Week, focused on helping turn inspiration through perspiration into a flourishing success. And this week's speaker is a pragmatist, an author, has implemented CRM systems and automated tools, and has produced a number of videos even, as well as has inspired a group of like-minded individuals to connect and create a networking movement with the power for good. Today, he helps us answer the question, how can my entrepreneurial mindset change the world? We welcome Adrian Peck. Good morning, Adrian.
I was asked by the team to do something for the because it's the Global Entrepreneurship Week, to do something around entrepreneurship. So what I want this morning is around kind of unleashing your inner entrepreneur and how you can use your entrepreneurial mindset to change the world. So what I want to do, out of this, you're going to have two outcomes really. One is to find your true passion and purpose. And the second one then is to tap into an entrepreneurial mindset. So that's my kind of goal within this next. Now, I will caveat this is that it may be, it's not necessarily something you're going to get absolutely solved in this presentation, but it will be hopefully something you'll think about in the days and weeks to come that will actually shape this. And I can tell you from personal experience, once you get these three things nailed, it will change your life. And it will change your whole outlook, how you look at work, how you look at yourself, how you look at your purpose, and everything that you do in your life will change. It has changed for me significantly in the last couple of years when I've really absolutely nailed this for myself, as you get to hear about. So why am I doing this? Why have I been asked to? Well, I'm actually a bit of a geek. When it comes down to entrepreneurship, this is something I really absolutely geek out about. I listen to hundreds of podcasts. I read lots and lots of books on it. I'm an Audible fanatic. Most of those Audible books are around entrepreneurship and kind of self-improvement around entrepreneurship as well. So it's something that I live and breathe as well. Also part of what I do under Better Never Stops is I'm a coach and a consultant working with business owners to help them do exactly this. So I work with lots of entrepreneurs as well. So it's something I absolutely geek out about around entrepreneurships. So why does the world need entrepreneurs? Now in the chat, what I want you to do while I'm kind of doing this, in the chat, just kind of hit me with some, what does an entrepreneur mean to you? Give us some examples of entrepreneurs that immediately come to your mind, or kind of what springs to mind in that. And I'll put the chat box up so I can see it. Hold on. But put the chat in. Who does immediately come to mind when we talk about entrepreneurs? So I'll give you a second about that. What people come to mind? Richard Branson's got in there. Risk takers, Joe Malone, Anita Roddick, yeah, absolutely. So why are they important to the world? Because actually what the world needs these days, we need people who are going to drive innovation. We need people that are going to drive change. We need people that also get stuff done. And that's a really important trait of entrepreneurs, is they actually make stuff happen. And it's not always about money. People think entrepreneurship and being entrepreneur is about, you think about successful people like Richard Branson, who are obviously multi-millionaires. But there's a lot of entrepreneurs that aren't multi-millionaires, but they've actually made significant changes. And I'm going to give you a couple of examples of that through my presentation as well. But it's not always about making money. And actually, and there's been a lot of research that's been done on this, it's around about £75,000 a year net income. Once you hit £75,000 a year net income, it then actually, your life and your quality of your life doesn't improve that much beyond it. There's been loads of research that it's about $100,000 in the US. So that's kind of how it correlates. But actually, there's been loads and loads of research done that says actually, it's not about how much money you earn, because once you get to a certain point, actually, it's a law of diminishing returns. You actually don't have that much better life when you earn 200, 300, 500,000 pounds a year. You might think you do, but actually you don't. It's just not always about money. It's not what entrepreneurships are all about. What it is about is these really important entrepreneur traits. And I'm going to share with you my view of what the 3 key entrepreneur traits are. And it's these 3 things. It's about passion, it's about purpose, and it's about a problem that you solve. Now, I couldn't add in there, I could have put solution, but I actually like the 3 Ps because it kind of works well. So you've got passion, purpose, and problems, because entrepreneurship's about solving problems. Now, each one of these can be a different trigger or a starting place. So your trigger that drives your entrepreneurship may come from a passion you have. It may come from your purpose, or it might be because you've seen a problem. But it has to have all 3 of these ingredients to actually work. Entrepreneurship is about these 3 things. And I say the trigger can happen at any one of those points in it. And this is really important in this part of it as well, because again, people think about entrepreneurship as the end game, and it's about the end goal, and it isn't. The journey is more important than the destination. You see many times about people wanting to be this entrepreneur, want to be successful, and they think that being successful is the end. It isn't. It's the journey that's important. All you have to do is listen to, again, I geek out on this stuff. There was Mark Randall, one of the founders. He was the primary founder of Netflix. In his book, does a wonderful book. I can't remember the title of it now, but if you Google it, you'll find it. It's a really great book. And his crescendo, he created Netflix, and it grew and grew and grew. It took it to an IPO in the States, got into New York. They floated the company, and his great crescendo moment. Imagine, he's got this huge check in his hand, all the fireworks are going off, and he goes to breakfast with his son in New York. That was it. That was the great crescendo. There was no parades in the street. There was no great celebration. He went to breakfast with his son in New York. So it isn't always about that. You see the time again with sports people, with around Olympians that get their goals. They win a gold, they win 2 or 3 golds, and then they have this huge depression at the end of it, because actually they've got no more journey left to do. So entrepreneurship is about the journey. The journey is more important than the destination, and it's really key. So you've got these 3 traits, and it's about having this balance. You have to have this balance of passion, purpose, and a problem in there as well. So for me, when I really dug into this, and the discovery that I went on is, when I look back at my life and I look back at what really motivates me and what really kind of drives me, is I love finding solutions. I love fixing things. Way back, I spent 9 years as an AA patrol, out fixing cars. I absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved that time in my life when I was out fixing cars. And I love helping people. So when I looked at what I want to do in kind of my time in my life, that's kind of what's really absolutely core to me, is I love finding solutions and I love helping people. So that's the 2 things that I put together. So what's yours? What's your real passion? What's your real intersection that you come from that as well? So what we're going to do is, Rich is now going to put you into pairs, and you're going to have 6 minutes on it. So you want 3 minutes each. And in your pairs, I want you to ask each other and challenge each other, what's your real passion? What's the thing that really you want to do? What's that thing that isn't necessarily something you want to go and do, but what are those traits inside you that really are, I want to go and find solutions, I want to help people. That's mine. What's your real trueness that comes down to? What's your real passion in life? So Rich is now going to put you into breakout rooms. And
how long would you like for those, Adrian?
They're going to have 3 minutes each. They have a total of 6 minutes, perhaps 5 minutes, including the minute drop down that comes as well. But you want 3 minutes each to really question each other about what your real passion is. let's move on then to purpose. Just got my notes around purpose. So my purpose, again, this is something that kind of came out for me during my discovery over the last few years, really. And I've honed this and honed this and honed this. And this is the thing that absolutely gets me up every single day. This is the sole reason I do what I do in its various forms. I enable ambitious people to build successful businesses, and together we change people's lives. That's my absolute purpose. That's the whole purpose behind Networking for Good, as you'll see, because you'll see the resonate, how that comes across. It's my purpose behind Better Never Stops, my coaching consultant company. And it's also the basis of digital teams as well. The digital teams is about automation of businesses. And out of that automation, we go and make impacts into the world because of the time and energy we save businesses and what they do. So it's all absolutely aligned. And as I go forward doing other things in my life from here going forward, they will all align back to this important purpose. If they don't fit my purpose, I'm not getting involved and I'm not interested in them, because this is absolutely what I'm about now. And this has been an absolute game changer from me to keep me absolutely focused on what it is I want to do. So everything comes back to this purpose for me all the time. So just before we jump on that, actually, I want to talk about Elon Musk. Is a good example for this. Elon Musk, as you all know, went off and does all these various mad things. If you read Elon Musk's book, he is nuts. He is a little bit off the radar. Elon is, but very interestingly, about 5 years ago now, 5 or 6 years ago now, when he first launched one of the new Teslas, he was on stage and he was challenged by reporters saying, Elon, how do you feel that all you're going to do is, you created this change of people wanting electric vehicles, but all the vehicle manufacturers are going to catch up and they're going to end up building better cars than you, and they will kill your business. And Elon basically responded saying, that's absolutely fantastic. Well, that day happens will be the day that I have been successful. Because my goal and my purpose and my vision I want to do with people is to drive the economy, is to drive people to drive electric vehicles. So his whole goal is about putting electric vehicles out there for everyday use. And that's what companies exist for. So he's going, well, that'd be great that day. When that day comes, that'll be brilliant. I've achieved what I wanted to achieve. So it just kind of shows you really where people's thinking's are. So your next part then, and this is an exercise I do a lot with my clients. When I first work with clients, one of the things we do with them is I take them through this exercise that says, okay, money isn't an object now. I want you to picture a time in the future that you have now, you're now financially free. Okay, you don't really need to earn any more money. Everything's all paid for. You've got enough money coming in, and you don't actually need to work. What is it you'd do? If money wasn't the issue, what would you do? So imagine tomorrow you woke up and you didn't have to go to work. What would you do? Okay, so back in your pairs, Richard, we're going to have, should we have we'll have another 6 minutes on this, yeah? Another 6 minutes, so we're going to do 5 minutes plus the minute drop down. So ask your partner, if money wasn't an issue, tomorrow they wake up, you're financially free, you do not need to work, what would you do? Put those ideas in the chat, reach out to people on our LinkedIn group and see how you can develop those ideas out to make them even stronger, and how you can use people to help you do that. These aren't going to come overnight. Disruption normally comes, it's those kind of eureka moments. You'll probably be in the bath, you'll be in the shower, Pippa will be out on a bike, Richard will be halfway across a lake on a cold winter's morning. We'll all be doing something quite different. And this is why rest time is so good, and R&R is so good, because all of a sudden you'll have these light bulb moments, these spurts of information. You go, wow, that's it. And all of a sudden your brain just joins the dots up and you'll go, if only we could do that, wouldn't that be great? Anybody that's met Paul and Masumi from B1G1, Masumi basically said to him one day, wouldn't it be great if we could make an impact out of everyday things? And that's how B1G1 came around, just from that one conversation they're having over, I think it was a coffee or something one morning. And that's how that inspiration, that business came. The guy, I listened to a podcast the other day from the guy who founded Deliveroo. He was basically, he's an American or Canadian working in Canary Wharf, and basically it was fairly late in the evening and they were getting hungry. They were still needed to work on, and he went, let's get some food in. They said, what can we deliver in? They went, well, you've got Just Eat, or you can get a pizza. Is that it? What about restaurants? There must be some great restaurants right now. Why aren't they delivering food? And that's how Deliveroo came about. And if you find, if you read to his postcard, he is still delivering food out. He's still going on his motorbike in London. He'll go and still do food deliveries in London. Even now he's a multi-millionaire and the chief executive of the business. He'll still goes out delivering stuff. Wonderful, wonderful story. But you see how these little bars of information just come from just solving a problem one day. And that's how these things develop. So hopefully, again, this wasn't about giving you everything today. This was about giving you hopefully some inspiration about finding your true passion and purpose. If you haven't answered those questions going, actually, this is bang on what I'm doing today, is my passion and purpose, then you need to think about that and think about how it can be, because you'll never tap into your entrepreneurial mindset if you aren't working with passion and purpose. So the whole thing kind of sits together. And as we've said before as well, the journey is more important than the destination.